Buyers Brokerage Compensation is now going to be listed to where the public can see it. Let's talk about that. Hi, it's Tanya Byrd, your friendly realtor from Keller Williams Realty. I'm in Peachtree City, Georgia, which is in the greater Atlanta area. And guess what? The National Association of Realtors passed a mandate that all the multiple listing services now have to list to the public what the buyer's brokerage compensation is. Now, before I get into why I think that's a good thing, let's talk a little bit about commissions. I have a few disclaimers. My first disclaimer is that commissions are negotiable. I'm going to repeat it. Commissions are negotiable. If anybody tells you different, they could be in violation of federal trade laws and could be accused of price fixing. That doesn't mean that if a realtor tells you that they're not reducing their commission, that they're in violation of this. It could be that they don't have permission from their broker to do so, or they might not be able to afford to reduce the commissions. And I'll get into that a little bit later as to why. So now that we've established that all commissions are negotiable, let's talk about how commissions normally get paid. Now, I'm generalizing here, and I'm going to say this is 9 times out of 10 how it happens. You could run into an instance where a buyer's pays for an agent's commission. You absolutely could. Or if the commission is lower than what that agent has agreed with that buyer that they're going to make, then the buyer could bring that extra money to the table beyond what the seller is going to bring. But 9 times out of 10, this is how it works. An agent goes and procures a listing, and they agree with the seller that they're going to pay a certain commission amount. It could be a percentage, it could be a flat fee. And then that agent also agrees with the seller's permission that they are going to sell that commission should another agent come along with a buyer, and they're going to cooperate with that agent, and they are going to split that commission. Now, the commission could be split 50-50, it could be 60-40, it could be sliced and diced so many different ways, but they are agreeing to share a portion of the commission. Now, normally the reason why this happens is the brunt of the closing costs are up on the buyer. At least it is in Georgia. So a lot of buyers can barely bring money for down payment and all the closing costs. So they need help with somebody with the commission side of things. And normally it comes from the seller side because of this reason, or because of tradition, because buyer's brokerage is relatively new thing. It wasn't always in existence. So those are some of the reasons why those costs come from the seller. Now let's get into why I think this is a good thing. I think this industry could use a ton of transparency. They really need to understand how commission works. At the end of the day, you get at the closing table and everybody sees these big old checks being made out to the real estate companies, and they have no idea how that check is sliced and diced and sliced and diced, and at the end of the day, the agent walks away with far less than what that check was made out for. Where does the slicing and dicing occur? Well, the first place it can occur is at the brokerage level, because all commissions come from the broker and are given to the agent. Nobody can pay that agent directly. It has to come from the broker. So the broker may take their cut out of the commission, and every brokerage is different. I could do a whole video on how different brokerages have different splits. Some of them have caps, some of them doesn't, some of them have does fees. What you need to know is that the broker does take some of the money out of this real estate check. Then the good old federal government comes along, because as an independent contractor, you're paid off of 1099 and taxes are not taken out by your broker. So you got to consider that out of that commission check, there goes a chunk to the broker, there goes a chunk to the IRS. And then if you're running a really good real estate business, 30% of your expenses should go into your total GCI. And there is a book written on this. So if you're really curious about how an efficient real estate business is ran, whether you're wanting to get in real estate or you're just a consumer and curious, here is a book written all about it, of best practices. Anyways, at the end of the day, that $10,000 check has been whittled away by broker fees, by the IRS, and by expenses. So the agent does not walk away with $10,000. Now, can you make a decent living at real estate? You absolutely can. But there is no way walking out with $10,000 is what agents do. It's not possible. So I also think transparency in how commissions are made and what it looks like that the agent's actually walking away with is one thing. Another thing is buyer agency isn't free. And I know that buyers may think that because it's not coming out of their pocket, but somebody's paying for it. It's coming out of the seller's proceeds. And then of course, if you didn't have a buyer, then we wouldn't have seller proceeds. So you can get into that whole chicken versus egg, which came first argument on that. But bottom line, somebody is paying for a commission and buyer's agency is not free. So I think those are the main two things that brings transparency to this business of ours, because there's so many moving parts. And a lot of times as agents, we don't tell people. And so they don't know because we don't have the conversation. Anyways, I hope that you're excited as I am about this transparency. The only question I have is, when are we going to see that seller's transparency? I think that needs to be public information too, that the seller has to list what he's paying the seller's agent. Because if the buyer gets to know how much the buyer's agent is making in the deal, then why don't we know what's happening with the seller? It'll be interesting to see if that is something that comes up in the future. I think it would be even more greater transparency for the industry overall, which is a good thing. So I hope you found it as exciting as I did. And stay tuned for more videos like this and about Peachtree City in the greater Atlanta area, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Are you digging the kind of content I'm producing? Then be sure to watch this next video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That way, you'll be in the know when I release my next video.